Hello my friends, welcome to another video. This week we have something very special. Regular viewers will know of my undying love for Volvos, especially modern Volvos. I don't know what it is about Volvos in general, just absolutely do it for me. And it's not objective, it's purely subjective. I absolutely adore them. This week we're driving my favorite Volvo. Which one, you ask? Because it's actually quite difficult to tell from the interior here because they are extremely consistent and there's very little difference between the interiors of one Volvo and another. But this one, come out and have a look because, and don't laugh, well go ahead and laugh if you must, because my favorite Volvo is the V60. This one's the Cross Country. I don't differentiate between the Cross Country or the regular, but the Volvo V60. I love this car. Look at it, it's beautiful. I know, it's a wagon. And in North America, wagons are dying even faster than sedans. But Volvo's hanging in there and they're doing absolutely fabulous things with this vehicle. Just look at it, look at the proportions. The back end isn't too big, but you still get the functionality and you get all the rest of the dimensions are that of a conventional sedan. And you just get a pretty car. I really like it. I'm not even going to complain about the plastic cladding on this Cross Country version. I'm not going to do it. Normally I would, but I'm not. Why? Because I love this car. I absolutely adore it. It is beautiful. We're going to get into other reasons why I like it outside of its fabulously good looks. Up front, you get kind of the conventional modern Volvo front end, the typical grille, etc. Thor's hammer headlights, because why not? And as you walk around, you really do get to take in just how pretty this vehicle is. Sorry for the lens flare, it's a bright and beautiful Saturday morning. Again, let's look at the back end, right? Estates, especially like wagons in North America, have always had enormous asses on them, right? Just huge, big, wallowy things, and they're absolutely hideous. And I would never have one of those. This one, though, this is different. It's compact, but still functional, right? Let's pop open the back while we're out here and have a peek. You know, because this is the part that seems to bother most people about, you know, wagons or estate cars, is just the boot, right? The trunk area. It's just, it never seems to work for them. You know, if you like wagons, you like them, but this one, it's not the biggest space in the world, you know, but it is very usable. And I did an airport run this week actually in this car. It was great. I had 3 full-size suitcases and a couple of small carry-ons in here. No problem whatsoever. You only get 5 passengers. I'll lean in here so we can see. It's a bright morning. You get 5 comfortable seating for 5. You get a useful storage space in the back. You get an actual spare donut. Remember when we hated those, but now we'll take them because they don't even include them in most cars. And that's it. Yeah, it's just, oh man, and you don't have to drive an SUV if that's not your preferred, because you get all the, I'll get to that later. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm just so excited. What can I tell you? I can't tell you how happy I am, how happy I've been this week. Even my wife noted, you know, you're not even miserable as normal. You're just happy because I'm in my V60, the Volvo. It's fabulous. Let's hop into the back seat here. Excuse me. Seated behind, as usual, my own driving position. It's pretty good back here. It's, you know, it's car spacious, which means it's enough. It's not a massive area in the back, but it is, that sort of speaks to the whole nature of the car, right? It's a bit more of a confined environment, but I don't mind that. We get to look at the huge panoramic roof. This comes on all 3 trim levels of this vehicle, and it's great. It's fantastic. The sunroof portion in the front opens. It's nice and open and airy in the back. I always leave this open, and oh man, it just makes the interior such a nice place to be. As usual, I can't remember what this color is called. Of all the details I look up about cars when I'm prepping a video, I always forget to look up the color of the leather. So this one comes with the controversial, in my world anyway, extendable cup holders here. I've always been concerned about these because I think they're going to break. They just seem a bit fragile, but that's just my opinion. But they are conveniently tucked away inside the console, and you're not kind of running into your own cup when it's here, so I certainly understand why they put it there. And then in the back, you get separate environmental controls, as is customary with most Volvos. You get power, etc. You get, for reference, 2 USB-Cs. There are no standard, like old school USB ports in this car. I actually had to buy I had to buy a new cable because most of my iPhone cables are sort of old USB to Lightning, so I had to get a USB-C to Lightning cable. I stepped into the, well, to the present day anyway. Oh, and finally, we must note the vents in the columns. A very, very neat feature of this vehicle. I like that. You can see that in various types of SUVs, etc. And I like when they put the ventilation into other parts of the car. Let's step outside, shall we? Only to step into the front seat. Okay, so I know I'm all excited about this car right there. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I'm gonna start the car. There it is. Do you see it? The glitch. No, it did that weird thing where it was already on when I walked in the car. So this infotainment system, as usual, is the biggest problem. Allow me to turn that off. Is the biggest problem with any modern Volvo is the Google built-in. It's pretty much garbage. The usability has been improved over time, etc. This one has been giving me nothing but problems. This is going to be pretty much my only complaint about this car. But all week long, the Bluetooth has worked. The Apple CarPlay won't when I plug it in. The Apple CarPlay works. The Bluetooth isn't working. The screen flickers and glitches, especially when you start the car. I don't know why that is, but it has proved quite troublesome over the course of the week. Now, of course, if you bought one and you had these issues, Volvo would fix it, but nevertheless, it is something that should be noted because it is rather irritating. But now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about the rest of the V60. You get the very what has become ubiquitous Volvo interior, etc. The steering wheel is as normal. These are your volume controls, cruise control. You get the standard Volvo dash, very linear. The only thing you can change is whether or not you want the map in the middle. I always prefer the map in the middle, of course, but that's about it. This particular, this is the ultimate trim level. So we've got the optional Bowers and Wilkins stereo system in this thing and a bunch of other bits and pieces. But otherwise, the V60 comes quite well equipped, even in a base model spec. We get the sunroof we were talking about, which is very, very nice. And your center console, you get this bejeweled shifter here. Sometimes you get this one, and then you get the one with the little hole in the middle, which I always end up sliding my finger in. And that's, yeah, I don't mind that. It just feels a little un-Volvo-ish for me, but that's just my opinion. You get this twisty start-stop thing. Sometimes this appears on some vehicles and not on others. A lot of people criticize it for feeling fragile. I have not felt that in this mechanism, but I see their point. Because, you know, we're careless when we drive, right? We just, you know, twist and whatever else. But I can't speak to the long-term performance of that, but it is, as a brand new vehicle anyway, quite useful. Your electronic park brake, auto hold, cup holders, center console, my aforementioned new charging cable, and an old one, because the 12 volt there is all you get in the open area. If you want to plug a cable in directly, right there, which I found a little disappointing, actually. I would have preferred it somewhere up here, just so that it's more readily accessible. Because if you need to charge your car, there is no wireless charging port. If I had another criticism of this vehicle, that would be it. But I'm going to gloss over that because I adore this car, and it can, other than the Google built-in, other than you, this vehicle can do no wrong for me. And that's kind of it. I won't beat you guys over the head with every tiny little detail about this thing. If you watch my videos regularly, you know I've had a string of Volvos recently, and they're all very consistent, etc. It's a beautiful place to be in here, sort of a sparse Scandinavian interior. I'm Dutch. If you dig back, well, Dutch and sort of British mutt, so I guess maybe this appeals to me in some way, I'm not sure. But yeah, I really like being in this car. And you get, one thing you do get, and I'll talk about it more when I'm driving, but you get the traditional sedan driving experience, or like position and all that kind of stuff. And it's a nice place to be. You're very low down to the ground. A little weird, you know, we don't drive as many cars as we used to, so it's a little strange to be quite as low to the ground as you are in this thing, but it's extremely comfortable and you feel cupped by the car, which is nice. Oh, something I should mention also, you get in this ultimate trim level, you get massaging seats. which I've come around on massaging seats lately, and I like them. I use them to sort of take the ache out of my lower back after a couple of hours of long driving. So I didn't want to forget that, because that's actually proved to be quite useful. And I think it is now time to drive. I haven't forgotten any pertinent details, because driving is where this thing shines. So let's go. The 2023 Volvo V60 in this particular trim cross country. What differentiates the cross country from the standard? You get the plastic cladding that I mentioned, and about 1 inch of lift. Is suspension lift, which is actually quite useful, even in just normal everyday driving. Other than that, they're pretty consistent across the range. This particular vehicle, you can only get it with one power plant. It is Volvo's very commonly used B5 power plant, so it's a 2-liter turbocharged engine that delivers. It also comes with a 48-volt mild hybrid system. It seems like you can't get a just traditional gas-powered engine from Volvo anymore. Everything is a mild hybrid or further on down the electrification trail. So this is as internal combustion as it gets. The entire operation will give you about 250 horsepower, a little bit more than that in torque. All of that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. You get all-wheel drive, and I don't know if they tweak the powertrain in this vehicle in some special way, but I've driven this powertrain in multiple other offerings from Volvo, and they were all fine, but it's particularly good in this car. It's hard to explain. Like, it's not, again, when you romp your foot down, you don't take off like a rocket, but it does respond, and it responds well. Has power on demand when you need it. When you're going through a corner like this and you put your foot down, it's so good, you know, but very manageable, etc. And then the all-wheel drive keeps you on there. I love driving this car. As soon as I got in, I know this is just a love letter to the V60, and apologies in advance. It just feels like it was made for me. And that's awesome, because I'm a very specific and picky sort of person. So to find something that ticks seemingly almost all my boxes has been a bit of a revelation. I've had it for 5 days now. I picked it up on Monday. This is a Saturday, and it's just been an absolutely fabulous week. You know, I mentioned earlier I had to do an airport run. I wasn't the only one who could have done that airport run, but I fought tooth and nail to do it. You know, a couple of hours behind the wheel, stuffing luggage into this thing. I mean, it was just, it was so good. So good. And I absolutely love driving this car. Add to that the functionality, the wonderful driving dynamics. You can't, honestly, you can't lose. It's so good. Interestingly though, and I'm sorry to babble as much as I am about this thing, it is polarizing, because I've showed it to my wife, hated it, would never touch it. Numerous members of my family, they would never touch it either. I'm the only one. I'm the only one who thinks that this is a great car. And it's such a shame. It really, really is. We are so SUV addicted in North America. Yeah, man, I don't know. You know, if I had to pick one, I would do this over an SUV all day long, just because of how it drives, and you still get the utility that we love from SUVs. You know, it still has all-wheel drive, it still has decent ground clearance. If you wanted to, I would never do it to you, baby, don't worry. But if you wanted to, you could take it on gravel roads, puttering around. You know, you could treat this as you would a Subaru, you know, an Outback as an example, which is another excellent wagon that I actually look forward to driving. I haven't driven a modern one in quite some time, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, there's just such a massive amount of, or a massive lack of interest in these cars. And it's just, I don't know, I just think if people gave them a shot, they would go, oh yeah, you know what? This drives like a car, a good car, a car that delivers a wonderful driving experience, and you still get all the utility. It's fantastic. It's just a win-win-win. But anyway, let's get back to some specific details, shall we? So price point. Because price point matters. The V60 Cross Country starts around $53,000 Canadian. This ultimate spec, which comes with, you know, some extra bits and pieces, etc., plus that Bowers & Wilkins stereo, tops out around $65,000. You don't need that trim. You can go for the base trim, and you get the panoramic roof, you get, you know, all the same engine, the same all-wheel drive, everything, and nothing really changes, right? It's just bits and pieces that they tack on for an extra $12,000. The base model gives you everything you need, and actually presents really solid value in this space, you know. Yeah, and it's just, you get the Volvo refinement, the wonderful interior, etc. I love this thing. Man, have I said that yet? My apology. It's so good, so good. You know, I was actually quite stunned at how responsive a driving experience it is. I didn't actually expect it to be as good as it is. You know, Volvos are not renowned for their sportiness, are they? But this, you get, you know, this is, I guess, shares a, you know, a platform with the S60 sedan, which is a wonderful car, and they just tacked on the bigger butt in the back, and that's cool, you know. But it is tight. It's wonderfully responsive. The suspension's good. You can put many hours down in this car, and it doesn't hurt, not at all. You know, and if you do get a bit of backache, fire up the massaging seats. Oh, I don't think they come in the base trim, but you can live without it. But otherwise, I mean, it is such a usable car. Such a usable car. Absolutely fantastic. What else is there? There's nothing else to tell. It's just great. If you're remotely interested in these vehicles, or if you've never even considered one, please do. Go take it for a spin. You will be pleasantly surprised. That much I can promise you. I can't say you'll choose it over an SUV, because it's most certainly not going to be the common choice. But let's consider that for a second too, before I stop talking. This is an incredibly rare car. Should I go left? Yeah, let's go left. Don't run into the pickup truck. You know, I mean, every type of iteration and variant of SUV is readily available, no matter where you go, you know, or like everywhere you turn, you see, you know, every type of SUV right there as an example. CX-5, you see it everywhere. Great car. But this, I mean, you never see them. Never. You know, talk about, you know, an elite car, or you know, a rare vehicle, you know, a really nice refined wagon. Anyway, give it a shot. If this is too expensive for you, consider the Outback. I'm going to try and get my hands on one of those in the next month or so. And I'm looking forward to comparing that to this, you know. But if you're interested in a wagon, this is something you need to consider, truly, because it is absolutely fabulous, and you will not be disappointed. Where did all this traffic come from? It's 8:30 on a Saturday. Wow, the world is busy. So that's going to do it. I'm not going to do this is just my little love letter to the V60, V60. Wow, my brain went soft there for a minute. And I just wanted to share with you how great a car this is. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, etc., all that nonsense. Please do. Comment down below. Tell me what you guys think of wagons. You know, tell me a story about some horrible wood-paneled wagon you guys had as kids, where you would sit looking straight out the back window. Remember those? Man, oh man. That's the legacy that this car is fighting. So, thank you for watching. We will see you all in the next one, and have yourselves a very, very great day.